So over these 2 beta sessions, I got a chance to play the Gears of War E-Day beta. I managed to put in about 18 hours altogether and got to level 50 by the end of the beta sessions. And by the end of it, I did have a lot of fun with it, and I am very much looking forward to the game releasing in October. But I do have some concerns that I hope they iron out by the time the game releases. I've been playing Gears of War since the very first one that came out in 2006, and I love the original trilogy a lot, and while Gears 4 and 5 I kind of fell off a little bit, I have high hopes for E-Day, so I really hope that they take into consideration the things that they really need to address. For starters, the gameplay I did feel like it was overall really good but could use some tweaking. For instance, the Nashor feels really good up close, but I think has too much of a drop off at mid-range, so I think they should kind of buff that up a little bit. The automatic weapons feel really weak, except for the Mark I Lancer Assault Rifle, which is basically the Retro Lancer. That one seemed very strong, but I feel like the Lancer just feels a bit too weak, and I think a lot of it is because of the bloom, so maybe they could decrease it a bit to make it feel a bit stronger. And the reason why I feel like this is because I prefer more options to play this game than just Nashor battles. I know the Nashor is kind of like your go-to weapon like the BR is in Halo, but having the Lancer and even the Hammerburst be more of a viable option would help bring in newer players to the multiplayer side of Gears of War. And I think that is the main goal of this game, is to bring in new players to the Gears of War series. And another thing that needs improving is the strafing speed in this game. It feels like there's virtually no strafing at all, so you have to rely on wall bouncing, and most new players are just not going to do that. So that's really something the Coalition really needs to look into. So some of the few things I did like was the Gut Puncher. It reminds me of the grenade launcher from Halo Reach, and I absolutely love that gun, and I love the Gut Puncher for that reason. It just felt really satisfying to use, and I can't wait to use this gun in the multiplayer when the final game comes out. And the Incinerator Shotgun is a neat addition to the sandbox. Anytime you use that, I would just get multiple kills with it, so it felt very strong and very satisfying to use. And as someone that's played Gears of War since the very first one, the new controls took some time to get used to for me. The Coalition added a new feature which basically allows you to jump, and that button also lets you vault over things, unlike before where there's one button that kind of did a little bit of everything, including vaulting. So that took a lot of getting used to for me. But once I did get used to it, it actually felt pretty good. So all you old Gears players that didn't get a chance to play the beta, it's going to take some getting used to, so just give it a little bit of time to adjust to the new control scheme, and who knows, you might actually like it more. Coalition also added a new sliding mechanic in this game, and honestly, I'm kind of indifferent. It feels good when you slide in and kill someone with a shotgun, but it also feels a bit overpowered sometimes, and overall, after the end of this beta, I was kind of indifferent, and maybe after the full release, I'll feel more positive about it, but right now, I'm just kind of in the middle of the road. But the one positive change I did like from this game is the wall bouncing. In Gears 5, I felt wall bouncing was way too overtuned and way too quick, whereas this has been toned down a bit, which is already a step in the right direction. And I know newer players are not going to like wall bouncing because one, it does look kind of goofy, and two, it takes skill and there is a skill gap in that, but it is a core component in the Gears multiplayer. So what I'd suggest to the Coalition is to make some sort of tutorial on how to wall bounce for newer players, so that we can ease newer players into the Gears of War multiplayer and learn how to do that core mechanic that's been in Gears since Gears 1. And who knows, it might actually teach me a thing or two, because I'm no expert at wall bouncing, but I know how to do it okay-ish. So I think it'd be a pretty cool idea to add something like that to Gears E-Day. So for the number of maps, we had 3 maps, 2 multiplayer and 1 horde. I want to talk about the multiplayer one first, which was Market and Outpost. And honestly, I had very little to complain about these maps. Graphically, they look really good and they played really well. I never felt like the spawns were too far away from where I needed to go, and I never had anyone spawn behind me, so that's already a good sign. And plus, graphically, they look really good. The one tiny criticism that I do have is that they may have too many power weapons. Each of them had like 3 of them, and I think it just needs to take one out and maybe reduce the ammo on some of them. But my biggest concern on launch is we're only going to get 6 versus maps and 3 Horde Siege maps. And I gotta ask, why are we getting so little on launch when it's been 6 years since Gears 5? Not to mention, we're only getting like 4 game types too. Like, really? This is Gears of War's big return, and we're getting so little at launch is just baffling to me. Like, one of the big reasons why Halo Infinite kind of dropped off was because of lack of content for the longest time. And I really am concerned that Gears E-Day is gonna have the same issue. I really don't want this game to go through another Halo Infinite situation where there's not enough content and the problems that need to get fixed take way too long to fix and people just drop off and never come back and the game just kind of dies. especially when I know there's a lot of potential for this game to be really great, but is being held back by lack of content. So anyway, that rant to the side, I want to talk about performance real quick. I played the E-Day beta on my high-rigged PC, and honestly, I don't think it's very well optimized. Multiplayer was okay, and I was getting 120 and 110 frames on average, but I did have some occasional stutters every now and then, so I really hope that gets ironed out by launch. But Horde was the worst by far. I had to turn it down to 60 frames, and even then I was getting a lot more stutters than the multiplayer. And this was having DLSS set to balanced and turning everything down to medium just to make sure I have a steady 60 frames. So I'm just hoping this is an older build of the game and that the final release will be a lot better optimized. And the last thing I want to talk about is Horde, and I'll be honest, I didn't put as much time into this as I did to the competitive multiplayer. But I will say with the time I did play, aside from the performance issues, I did have a really good time with it. I do like how they're trying something different where you put 12 people on a big map and you have much bigger battles and you complete side objectives and stuff like that. In Horde, you get to pick 4 playable classes, which is Assault, Breacher, Marksman, and Medic. For the beta, I played the Medic because I know a lot of people don't like playing Medic and they just want to play Assault and go out there and shoot things, which is great and all. I'll just heal you when you get downed by another drone. But joking aside, each class starts with a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, equipment, and a sidearm. And each class has their strengths and weaknesses, and they're able to do interesting things. Like for the medic, for example, they throw out this little device that you can throw on the ground and you can heal yourself and your teammates and be able to pick them up when they're down. But I think this mode will be the go-to mode for most casuals because it is a pick up and play type mode. It can feel like a laid back experience when you play on lower difficulties. So overall, Horde Siege, I would give a thumbs up. I had a really good time with it, and I don't really have many issues with Horde Siege overall, other than the performance. That really needs to get fixed. And so to wrap this video up, I would say I had a really good time with the beta. I put in about 18 hours into it, and honestly, I am looking forward to it, but I do have concerns that really need to be addressed, and I hope they really do address it. Gears of War has been gone for 6 years, and this is their big chance to come back and really bring Gears of War back to the forefront of third-person shooters. But with only 9 maps coming out at launch and 4 game modes, that's really not a good sign. The game can be perfect in performance and gameplay, but if you don't give much of a reason for people to keep coming back because of lack of content, the game's just going to die off. And I really don't want to see Gears go through that like Halo Infinite did. All that potential that Halo Infinite had went to waste, and I don't want to see Gears going through that. I absolutely love the original trilogy for the Gears of War games, and I just don't want to see Gears of War die off again. But I do have hope that if the Coalition makes the changes they need to with the multiplayer, the performance, constantly adding content to the game because it really needs it, and delivering a excellent single player experience, I have hope that this game will do well. Because honestly, Gears of War needs a win, especially after Gears 5. But anyway, that's just my opinion on the beta, and I'm curious what you guys think. Did you enjoy the beta? Do you agree with the things I've said? Or do you disagree? And what's your favorite Gears of War? Mine personally is Gears 3. I absolutely love that game. I think it was the perfect Gears of War game. Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.